Hi everyone, and welcome back to part 3 of the Alstroemeria watercolour painting. We so far roughed in the two flowers and we've now, I could go on and put the details on there, but actually it's difficult to get those quite right until you've got the leaves in and you can get to see the exact shade that you need. So the thing to do is to carry on roughing out, and we'll start with the leaves, see how far we get in today's session. We might get them all roughed in, but I don't think so. But that's fine, you know, there's no hurry. So I've got my sketch here, I've got my photograph here, and I do have an actual flower if I need one to actually look at what's going on. But I just need to carefully familiarise myself with what's happening before I start to paint. So let's move down to the painting and see what's going on. I intend to start with this large leaf, which comes up here to a point that goes over the flower. And yep, doesn't do anything fancy, anything too fancy at all. And then it comes down to the stem, and there's a dark green bit that comes down there, and then this is the lighter colour that comes as far as that, because there's another stem comes up there. So let's just concentrate on this one. Not exactly sure what's happening here. I think that comes over there. Right, let's just concentrate on that. But first of all, we need to mix the colour up, and it's a darker colour than the colour that we used in the flowers. So I'm going to go for sap green deep. Nice dark green. Quite a bluey green, which is fine because that's the colour we want. So I'm just going to make another puddle with some sap green deep and a little bit possibly of the green gold through that, just lighten it a little bit. Yeah, that's lovely. That's perfect. So get your pigment off your brush. It all costs money. Right, this is a big leaf, and for that I'm going to use a number, this is a number 6. I do actually also have a number 8. I'll use the number 6. So it's the same procedure really, wet into, well, it's the same procedure exactly. This is a big area. Actually I'm going to use the number 8 because it'll be dried out otherwise by the time I get back. This is just a round, it's not a sable round or anything, straight up round. And I just want to keep it to the dark section there. And this is our leaf coming down here. So I've got quite a reservoir of water on there that I'm spreading out evenly, I hope, across the whole area that we want to drop the paint into. Down to that little narrow bit down there. And I'm going to take the water further down as well because I don't want to leave it with a hard edge there. You can see when you look from the side the areas that you've missed with your water, so go back in and make sure that you've got nice even sheen. No puddles, but no dry bits either. And that is really quite a large area. Just I want that to go down there, but I don't want it to be that big puddle. Right, so into the darkest of these for this bottom region, just drop the paint into there. You can see I've got quite a run on there, which I don't want, and I don't want that there either. So just use your dry damp brush as a sponge. Drop some more pigment in around this dark bit down here and let it find its own path down there. We just don't want it to dry into a hard edge. The leaf itself, of course, is an edge, has an edge to it. Right, now it sort of moves up into this lighter green at the top, so we need to bring these together. There's a little twirly bit there on the top. Let's get it in. Give us a clue when we come to put the details in. And they just meet up and meld from one to the other. We'll flick through them in a minute with a wet brush. I don't have enough water on this section here. It's making it difficult. If you don't have enough water, the paint won't flare out like we want it to. So just rub your brush through that region there where one green goes into the other, so you don't have a definite line. And lifting out, well, this has got ribs on it, and I want quite a smallish brush. I'll use a number 2. So it's damp, but it's dry. And I'm just going to see if I can lift some of these ribs out while I've still got wet paint. Looks like I can. I'm calling them ribs because that's what they look like. There's one that comes down here. It doesn't seem to want to lift this lighter sap green off for some reason. I don't know why. I've got some quite nasty marks in there that I don't want either. Too much water. Okay, so I've smudged this here as well actually. So I'm just going to get a piece of kitchen towel before it firmly sets in, and hopefully I can lift this out. So I'm applying a lot of water to that, to where I've smudged it. Damp it down. This sap green is very staining. Try it once more with this brush, and then I'll get the harder brush and see if I can persuade it. It is coming out, but quite slowly. Where's my little brush? Oh, here we are. So this is a little firm brush that I was telling you about the other day. It is really quite firm, and that's fine. That's just the job. Okay, so we've got some markings down here that I don't really want. In fact, I might leave that to dry and go back and do something else with that, because I don't like those markings very much. And I'm now going to move to my number 6. This isn't dry, so I can't really do anything with that. So let's move up to this leaf up here. And it's just kind of the side of it, to be honest. And then it comes down with a stem, like so. Goes into that stem there. And there's a little darker piece behind it there. Right. This is a number 6 this time. It's not quite so thick and consequently doesn't hold quite so much water, but it is quite a small area that we're doing. Put some water down there as well, so it's, you don't get a hard edge. Don't masses, but just some. Just check I've got everywhere covered. Can't see it very well. Yeah, pretty sure that's it. So this is at the top, it's the darker colour. Just a little curly Q on that leaf there, and it comes around like that. So watch your edges, and then as it comes down it moves into this slightly lighter green. Just need a little flick through there just to aid the transition. And follow your paint down. Your paint will always fall down if you've got it on an easel. Follows gravity, of course. And into there, and it comes down to there and then across. So I just want a little bit of water at the end there, just to smooth that out. There we are. Right, so what do we need to lift? Well, there's a section here. It's quite light. There. And there's a section up on the side. Oi, Bobby. So I think that's pretty much all that needs to be lifted at the moment. Right, okay. So this is dry. This is really not good, but we'll sort that. Don't worry. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about anything when you're painting. It's simply not worth it. So this leaf here that is here has this leaf in front of it, and then it comes down here. Is that right? I think so. Let's just double check what we've got. So we've got this is it at the top, goes behind that, And then there's the stalk, which is lying just behind, and then it comes out here. So it's the stalk that I need in a bit of detail there. And this is the leaf, which then comes again behind that stalk. And it's also here. So there's a bit down there. Yeah, okay, got that in my mind. I think I'm going to move to my 4, because there's a bit of jiggery pokery going on here. I'm just going to do this top bit first. It's a sensible thing to do. Feel our way down this instead of trying to do it all in one go, because that way could spell absolute disaster. You know, I'm exaggerating. It does make life difficult for us. Right, so we've got water on that section. Let's have a look and see exactly what colour it is. It's dark down the centre. It's dark down there. But then it's lighter on each side. Goes behind that leaf, so try and get it looking as if it's behind it. A bit of the lighter colour down the other side. Let it spread out into each other, meld together, find their own sort of level where they want to be. Right, that's fine, that's good. I'm just going to flick my brush through there, give it a bit more of a line. Yeah, that's good. So this is another leaf coming from another stem, so we'll ignore that and we'll move on to our leaf, which is behind there and then comes out there. Oh, it's tricky, this bit, isn't it? So it's trying to work out what's what, really. What did I say? Yeah, this bit here. My iMac, I forgot to put it on not go off, so it keeps going off. So we'll just do this section. I'm just going to feel our way down here. So this is quite a dark colour in here. And it moves up to the lighter one on the top. Lovely. Not mess too much. That's when catastrophes happen, when you start to mess. So she just about to mess. That's one slightly darker down there. Okay, that's good. Now then, we've got a little sliver of it up here, which is very dark. This is this piece here. And it really is dark, so twirl your brush into a point and drop that in. It's just a bit more pigment there, it's still a little bit light. There we are. And we've got a little bit down here, this part here. So I'm literally going to drop that in with a just wet on dry. Will be fine. It's dark. My colours are drying up. Let's freshen that up again. Right, where is it? This section here. So we want that to look quite dark next to the other region of that leaf, of different leaf. But this is darker. So hopefully putting it on wet on dry and get it become slightly darker. So that's that, and then there is a tiny little bit in here that just goes across from one stem to the other. And it actually is really dark, so I'm looking for a dark green. Not that one. No, ooh, not that one. That's horrible. What's undersea green then? Oh, that's a nice green. I'll go for the terra vert. Hair in there now. It's not useful. So I'm going to mix that with a bit of the deep sap green. See if I can get just a bit darker colour. Yeah, that undersea green is probably going to be the answer to our problems, I think. So this is just it's just a section in here that is just darker. It just reaches from, it's the leaf behind the stems really. That's what it is. Okay, so as soon as I've got that now, I'm just going to go over these, make them really quite dark. That's going to be a great colour when it comes to putting the details on the leaves, I think. Just down here as well, where it pops behind the other leaf that we were doing. I mean, this is detail. I should be leaving this for when we do detail. I just got so excited when I saw the colour. So I'm just going to run my brush down there so I haven't got a hard edge when we come back to actually put the details in properly. There we are. Okay. Right, so where are we now? Well, I can't do that little one that's facing forwards because I've just put some paint on there. I could, however, do this one here. This is a long, thin fellow, and he twists. So let's do the section at the top then. I've got number 2 brush here, but that's fine. Let's do this little section, and once again we'll just feel our way down the painting, down this leaf, so as it doesn't run away from us. There's plenty of water and then some, so I'm just going to use my brush as a sponge there, just take off the excess. And it's this green without a doubt, so let's drop that on. It comes right up to where that fold over piece is. And let's have a look and see what needs lifting. So there's a section here that needs lifting. It's not quite dry enough yet. Just down there, where you can see that it's twisting. Down there. Yeah, great. So this next section is all dark, apart from when you get to this bit here, which which has got just a light bit folded in. So we can do that, and then we can do this section at the bottom where it's folded again. So we'll put this little drop in. I don't necessarily think we need to do it wet in wet. It's a tiny little drop. And is there anything needs lifted out? Well, yeah, there is, just along the edge there. So it's a small amount, but it will give the effect overall when we see it that it's twisting. Okay, that's fine. And further down, this area here is the same sort of light colour, but it probably does need to be wet in wet. It's just slightly too large for what I would consider comfortable for wet on dry. So I'm going down beneath where my line is with the water and drop the pigment on it. To the edges. Make sure that's a point. And that's fine. Just gonna go along the bottom there with a damp brush so it doesn't turn hard on us. And there are some highlights that need to be pulled out. Yeah, okay. Right, so that leaves us with this long twisty section, which there isn't really too much I can do just yet because I've got a lot of quite damp sections around me. So I could look at this stem, but I've got a lot of things connecting onto it. So I'll leave that just now. We'll have a look at this leaf instead. This is quite a dark leaf and it's quite a large leaf and it's all in one. So let's have a look at the number 8 for that one. Needs to be done all at once, all together. It's pretty much all the same colour, to be honest. And we'll see if we can get this better than the first one that we started with today, which is not good, but it'll be good. In the end, it'll be fine. You know, if you really get into a right kerfuffle, just leave it to dry and then drop some more water on it and start again. You can't really lift out so successfully though because you've already got a layer of paint on it, but you know, you can fix your errors if you feel that it's that bad, and that probably is that bad, to be honest. Right, so I think that we've got, maybe not. Like I say, you want enough water on, but you don't want so much that it's puddling because your paint will just float along on top of it and you won't have any control of it. But you certainly want enough that it's going to make the paint, allow the paint to move. And if your paint isn't moving, you haven't got enough water, so add some more. Okay, I think we're all right with that. So we need this darker, I like this darker colour actually, it's nice. This darker green, just mix a bit of that through it, blue it up a bit. So the top is quite, a little, it's not quite, it's just a touch lighter. This isn't flowing that well in this, so I've just got enough water and no more. pop your pigment on fairly quickly. And you don't have to rush, but you don't have to stand around admiring either. Just crack on. So follow your pencil lines. Down we go. There we are. I've got some quite solid lines there that I don't want. Okay, so just along the bottom there, I'm just going to dig that out a little bit. Bit over keen with my kitchen towel. There we are, that's fine. Right, so now we need to, we'll just drop in a lighter colour up here for that knob on the top. You can see how that's dried at quite an alarming rate. Now I've got lines where I didn't want lines. Anyway, I'll rectify that one and come back with the details. So let's get a sort of number two, number two, number two, number two. So there's a line that comes down here. I don't think the number two is going to do it. You get your brush and flatten it out, you'll get you get more of a line with it. There's this one here, which is quite an important one, so definitely try and get this one. Got some left in, which is fine because we're going to put dark in either side of it afterwards when it's when I'm going to put the details in. Let's see if I can get some here to lift. Just going to move on to my little more abrasive brush here. Let's see if I can get some lines out of here. Wouldn't always recommend this as a course of action, but yeah, I mean we need them, we need them. Horrible edge there. I'm just gonna scrub it away. There we are. Okay, right, so back onto this one now. I'm just gonna have a drink for a sec. Bear with me. really is quite dry in here today. Back on the Diet Coke today. I like the Diet Coke, it's nice. So we're going to do this section here, which is, yeah, it's all in one section. So I've got a little brush, I'm not sure why I've got such a small brush. Let's move to, what's that, 4? 4 looks like a good size to me for this. So get your water on. Pretty soon in the exclusively watercolour group we're going to be starting our calendar, which is going to have a foiled month on it. So if it's January, January will be put down and then foiled over. I'll show you how to do that, and then we'll paint some little flower that's like a sort of flower of the month, if you like. For January we're going to use snowdrops. I know that's a bit of a stretch in this country, but really there's not much around in January to pick and choose from, so that's what we're going for. So if you want to pop over and join my Facebook group, which is exclusively watercolour, you'll be able to see how we do that. It should look quite nice. Had a little trial run with a birthday card from a friend and it turned out very nicely. This is drying up a bit. What did I use in the end? I want to say green, yeah. Let's just mix some of this up. Undersea green. So, I don't know why it's undersea, it's quite a mossy green actually. I want a bit of sap green in there as well. And possibly a little bit of terra vert. Nice dark colour. Lovely. So, hopefully this is still wet enough for us and dark enough. I think it's dark enough. We can always, you know, as I keep saying, we're blocking in. When we'll come back to do the details, we can sort out all the tiny little differences in hue, shade, temperature, whatever. But at the moment we just really want to get the base coat in, give us something to work from, really, pretty much it. I think the darks that I put in earlier aren't dark enough. I'm going to have to darken them down. So they're not standing up as being dark enough. Now this has got a very dark edge on it here, which comes down to there. It twists over like that. And this here also needs to come to that. That twists in. And then this also comes out. So you can see it twists, it's got a twist on it. Like so. And then we need to lift some bits out. See if it'll let us. Oh yes, it's happier today. I don't know why, it just is. Some papers allow you to lift out more easily than others. Some paints allow you to lift out, and some colours lift out more readily. Some are really staining colours, and as soon as they go on the paper, they're there. You can't. The quinacridone magenta is like a bit like that. You just can't get it to budge once it's down there. So you've got to kind of make sure that you either need to put the shading in as you're putting the paint down, or live with it and add dark to it if you want that sort of thing. Right. I think, no, I think we're all right. I think we're all right. I think that's okay. Right. I just, now that I'm here, I'm just going to add a little bit of something to make a darker green. I don't think there's anything there that's going to help me particularly. Now I've got some French ultramarine blue over there. That might help. I've already got that out. Yeah, let's go with that then. I'm just going to pick up that little bit of phthalo blue that we put down because it has no right to be there. So let's just pick up a little bit of that French ultramarine, mix it in through there. It's giving us a nice bluey green colour, which is really nice, and I think very possibly might help us quite a lot. So let's just put those bits in again with that nice bluey green colour. This one here. Darken it down a little bit, and this line here that needs to come up to there. See, once again I'm getting drawn into doing details, and naughty, shouldn't be doing details at this stage. But you can see, can't you, when we start to put the details on, that it's going to look a whole lot better. It's quite exciting when you get around to the details part, I think. Right, so let's put this, let's move my picture up a bit, and let's put this leaf in that's coming over here. Now this leaf looks like it's had a bit of a hard life, to be honest. It's got a bit of, something's had a go at it, something's eaten it. But let's be faithful to it, and let's put that in. Oh, I've got every brush I want to put from my... I need to get a new regime for my brushes, I think, so I can actually see what I've got. Because the way I have them, you can't actually see, but it's down on my dab pad, and I've only got the handles sticking out, not the other end, so I can't actually see what size it is, which is kind of not what you want. So let's get our water onto here, and I am just using a number 2. It's quite a small area, smaller still because it's been eaten by something. It has got the tiniest little bit of brown implied on it, but I'm not going to put that on at this stage. That's a detail which will go on later. And this is quite a light one. It's really catching the light where it is. Coming right down to there and across, down there, and then down into the bottom there. And it's quite light, so I'm just going to use the sap green. It was a nice bright colour. If I wanted that any lighter, I could mix lemon yellow through it, which would give me a lighter colour, but I'm okay with that. Maybe when we come back and do the details, we'll add a bit of lightness to it, but for the moment that's perfectly fine. There's the bit that's been eaten, carried away in some fat caterpillar's tummy. So there we are, there's nothing more detailed to that than just applying the pigment. Now let's see where we need to get some put some highlights in it. Dry brush off, and it's along the bottom here. So let's take some of that off there. That's fine actually. Maybe a little bit there, but that's it. And then I need to just put some ribs in it, running the length. It's just not quite dry enough yet. I think if we can get this side done today, I think we'll have done a good job actually. Where was I? Where was I? What was I doing? I was trying to lift some colour from there if it's going to let me. Mind, it's looking quite promising. Always rinse your brush. Always rinse your brush. What have I told you 100 times? And I still don't do it myself, honestly. Yeah, that's fine. I'm happy with that. That's good. Right, next on the agenda is, well, really it's this one. It's got to be this one. But, oh, that is pretty dry actually. So we're all right. We can go ahead with this one. And this one twists up here in front of the lily petal. And what's going on there? Oh, that's this leaf behind there. Oh, we'll have to come back to that one then. Thought I'd finished it, but I haven't. So this comes round to here and it twists. And then it comes out of there, down there. Is that correct? That's correct. And very dark bit where it twists in there. Blimey, O'Reilly. Right, well, let's do it again bit by bit as we have done. So we'll do this top part first. It's quite confusing because there's a lot of lines going a lot of places and it's hard to see what's what. And I think that my tracing in this instance hasn't been the best that it could possibly be. So that's making it difficult as well. So let that be a lesson to you. Always do your very best tracing that you can do. Now this is this bluey green. Again, we've had that before at the top. It's got a little curly bit on the top. It comes down and meets up with that. Okay. Let's find maybe a tad bit more pigment on there. But leave a light where it meets up with this leaf. Otherwise we won't be able to tell the difference. There we are. Okay. Breathe out. Now that's just got a little bit of a light coming out of here. Perfect. Seems like the more you practice, the better you get. Hey, who would have thought it? So this section here, is that right? Yeah, this section here. No, I think there's a twist in it actually. Well, I'm going to do it as I've got it drawn anyway. I think it's quite easy to tell what it is. So we're going for this whole section here. Yikes. Just going to steer clear from that. Oh, it is dry anyway, we're all right. It's so warm in here today that I'm not having a problem having to wait for things to dry. In fact, I'm having a hard time keeping the paper damp while I put my pigment on top. So this is this leaf, but the remainder of that leaf is underneath it. So we need to come back after we've done this and put that in. Right, so we're getting down to the stem part of this leaf now. And what happens there? Well, it's anyone's guess. All I'm going to do is put water over onto the stem, and I can sort out all the stems in one go. Has that got water everywhere it should have? I think so. So it is, once again, it says bluey colour, and it's very, very, very dark in there, really is. So drop quite a lot of pigment into there, and also down here, really, really dark. Right, and then the next colour we need is this colour. Right up to the other leaf. Let's just try and quickly put more water on my brush perhaps. Bring it down into the stem part. Just fade it away there a little bit. So we've got that lovely dark edge there. We've somewhat lost our dark that we put in here. I'm just going to drop that in again. And we've got dark down here too. Drop that in. Now what do I need to lift? I need to lift a bit here. I've got a very dark edge but a very light bit next to it. Okay, and then down into here, which is already very light, so doesn't really need a lot of attention with lifting. And back to the rib department, and there are ribs that come down here. Personally, I think this paper is the thing that isn't playing ball. Doesn't like to lift. I'll definitely try another paper. It's really messing with the paper, actually, trying to lift that. So much so that I really don't want to do it anymore. Okay, so we just have the tail end of this one in there, and that's pretty much it really. this is also part of that. So let's do those in two little separate pieces. Actually, I'm going to do it wet on dry. So I'm just going to take a little bit of that and add that up into there. It's possibly not dark enough. I'll just leave it and remind me that it's there, and then there's another section in here that goes into the stalk. That way. Yeah, it does need to be darker, but it's fine. The fact that it's there at least will remind us that we need to do something with it. Right, okay. Does that bring us up to the stalks on this side? I think so. We'll see if we can get the stalks done, and then, you know, we'll feel that we've really achieved something today, I think. I think so anyway. So let's start at the top. This here is more of a trumpet than a stalk, and actually it's a bit more of that green gold that we had yesterday. So I'm just going to mix up a new colour, which is the green gold, which is just gorgeous. I adore it. Might have told you that yesterday. And I'm going to put some sap green into part of it. Give me a darker but still vibrant colour. Okay, so I think I'm just going to add that wet on dry. I think that'll be fine to do that. It goes behind everything actually. This is at the back. Just pick up some of that surplus pigment that's around, and it's much darker on this side down here, so just run that colour down there. That's a detail really, that comes under the detail category, and it comes under I can't wait to do the details, so I'm doing it now. Just want to darken that side like that. There's a bit of shadow going on, so right, that's that. Let's follow this down. It might be our best chance, our best hope. So this here, well, this leaf here actually needs to come further down onto the stalk itself, so let's tend to that. Just put a bit of water onto there. It's quite light, it's quite a light green, but even so. So I'm going to put the water onto the stalk as well, so as I can kind of do two things at once, which is a bit fancy. So this is this colour, which I'm just going to add down here, coming down onto the stem. And it's quite dark up there and up there. Smooth those edges away, and it's got a rib right down the middle. Like that. Okay, but the stem itself is this lighter green. Lighter, but not the lightest green. not exactly the stuff we used for the flowers. And that just goes up there a little bit and then follows on down. So I'm using this sort of mid colour, green gold with a deep sap green mixed together. And as this comes down, it actually gets much, much darker. Where am I exactly? That's all stalk there, isn't it? Yeah. So I'm just going to add a little bit more down here. Make this just a bit darker. I'm just going to put some water on the end of that just so I don't get a hard edge there. I really don't want a hard edge. So that comes down there, and then it's a darker mix down here. And that side. Maybe even a little bit darker than that. I'm just going to run some water down there. So I don't want a hard line down there. Okay, I'm quite happy with that. That's not too bad. That's an hour. Shall I stop there or shall I just carry on? Just carry on and finish that section. It's looking okay. I mean, of course it needs all the details in it. We know that. I can do this one, I think, because it's dry enough. So let's have a look and see what there is here. There is... Oh, that's you can put that in right now because we know what that is. It's the darker side of that little trumpet that's there. These are quite complex flowers, I must say. I obviously didn't think it through. Alright, so this one here has got a little bit of green. I don't think I need to make it wet and wet. Just wet and dry will do nicely for that. It just creeps up into the pink a little bit. It's got a light out of it there. Like that. And it comes down behind there, you can't see it, and then it comes to here and it goes all the way down to there, and it's similar to this kind of situation. So actually I am going to put water on that. It does really aid its progress, its flow. So there's a little bit there that we haven't drawn in, but it is there behind that moth-eaten leaf. This comes all the way down. It's a similar thing, it's bright colour but it's got a darker side to it. That's pretty pretty straight as that comes down. Okay, so we want that, this colour. I'll come back in a minute and put the darker side on it. Just up into that leaf that's attached to it with a bit of bright green, so it all looks like it's properly attached. And it'll be easy if you've got water there, the right amount of water. Paint will spread and you're just guiding it pretty much with a brush. Down to there, where the other one, this one, comes in front of it. It's a bit darker on that side. So are there any lights to be lifted? I think there's one there. I'll lift that one out. It's hard to tell with this, you really have to be guided by what you can see because there's so many leaves casting so many shadows. It's really quite difficult to work out what's what with light. A bit coming out there. Doesn't want to lift out. Okay, and then the darker one down that side, and this side here. Straight down to the bottom. It comes up there. Maybe a touch of it there. And just some water on your brush. And just ease that into it. Anyway, it's drying so quickly. Anyway, that's fine. I'm just going to add a little bit more of this down into here because I want to lift a light out, and I just haven't got enough paint on to do that. And that's very dark there as well, actually. So there's just a light that comes out there like that. That's good. Nice. So this one is actually quite dark, so I'm going to use this very dark. Come up, it's behind here, so it's obviously in the shadow of this. No light there at all to move out. It's really quite dark. And then here we've got a lighter section. Let's pop that in. Actually, that might not be that colour, might be that colour. Lift out what I can. I don't think that's a stem, I think it's part of a leaf. Just lift out what I can and put that back in this leaf colour. It's got a light out of it as well. Right, okay, so I think that's roughed that lot in. I think it's looking quite nice. Can you just pop me back on camera a sec, please? So that was quite intense. There was quite a lot of concentrating there to see what was behind things and what was in front of things. But all in all, I don't think we've done a bad job. There's some parts that need quite a bit of refining, which is fine. That's what we expect. We put this in just as a backboard sort of thing, and then we can put the real details on and bring it to life. But as it stands, I'm pleased with it. Looks lovely, I think. I hope you do too. Obviously need to sort out quite a lot of lights and darks around here, but we've got the base coat on. We are coming along, steaming ahead. All right, well, join me soon for part 4, where we will be doing the leaves on this side, but they aren't so complex, these ones. You can kind of see where they are, which is excellent. And then it's a question of putting the details on, so, you know, we're motoring on. All right, I'll see you in the next part. Thanks for joining me. Bye.